Hi guys. I just wanted to make a really quick video to show you two activities I'm going to use in the Let's Read Aloud and Learn English class tomorrow. Like Matt, I covered everything and I'm going to have to come up with a few activities to stretch things out, but also activities that I think are kind of meaningful. So this is what I would do. First, I would go over the homework and review everything like we talked about. And then after that, a couple of things I want to share with you. I would bet a case of Costco Diet Coke that um, there's going to be a lot of vocabulary on the final test. So what I would do, I would go back to this vocabulary and I would give the students 2 to 4 minutes and have each other practice and have people practice with each other. How do you say, for example, how do you say have to in Japanese? And how do you say Nataka Shinakiraba Narinai in English? And how do you say twice in English or in Japanese and so on? Have them practice that because that's going to be on the test. I know it will be. And I think that's a good review activity anyway. So, and it also gets them in the habit of asking questions. How do you say something when they want it? And we teach that in English conversation. So that's the first thing I would suggest. Okay. Now, I included this section in my PowerPoint slide. I didn't send it to everyone else because I don't know if people would use it or not. What I think we should do is teach them how to say numbers, because we are talking about math, and I know they can do numbers up to a point, but I'm not sure if they could do numbers up to a million, which is how I teach it. I like to teach it this way. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is easy. And then I like to teach them the difference between the teens and the 20s, 30s, 40s. I like to point out that when you say 11, 12, 13, it's long pronunciation and a hard T as opposed to 20, 30, 40, 50. I like to tell them, think of a Chisai Tsu. The pronunciation is very short and it's almost a D sound, like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So, because sometimes they have trouble telling the difference between 30 and 13. They have trouble hearing that. So that's a good chance or a good opportunity to practice that. I also will have them practice 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and then 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And then now we're getting into the numbers that honestly I don't think they know very well. The 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, so on. And then the 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. I like to tell the students that that when you're dealing up to 900,000 up to Q Juman, you're talking about the comma stands for 1,000. Okay, so if you look like right, I'm trying to move my mouse here. This is 1,000 because you can see the number to the left of the comma, and then 30,000, and then 700,000. And then when you get to a million, I explain to them if you have two commas, the first comma from the left, that's a million. So you have 1,000,000, 100,000, 1,200,000, and so on. Now, after I do that, I like to play a game called Up and Down, where what you do, you write a number on a piece of paper. You can play this in groups of two. You write a number on a piece of paper, and you can use the whole numbers on the board, which is what I do, or you can get completely crazy. So, for example, I wrote a number. Now you have to guess the number. Okay, 1,000 down, 500 down, 100 up. Okay, 300 down. Okay, 200, 200, 200 up. Okay, so 200, 300, we bracketed that. 260 down, 240 up, 250. Bingo. Okay. So, and you can play that with any kind of numbers that you want to play with. Students can get really into it. Students can get really into it. I'm going to let mine go for 3 to 5 minutes on this. Have each person do it at least one time. Okay. Now, the next game I want to practice is this. This is what I call Takakumai. It's a play on Monopoly. Okay. And I have this paper right here. If you want copies of it, let me know, and I'll make copies and I can put it in your boxes. Put it in your boxes later tonight. or even tomorrow morning, excuse me, sorry. Hey, I'm drinking tea, not Diet Coke. How cool is that? Okay. Anyway, okay. The game is very simple. It's a play on Monopoly. So what we have here is this. The students, they get this paper and they need some kind of marker. Okay, something, it could be a paper clip, a coin, anything is okay. And the student throw the dice. So for example, this student right here, the red student throws the dice, comes up as 3. He moves it 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Now, he has to now use this conversation, okay? Do you have, we'll go back here. Well, actually, yeah, do you have Hanazushi? Okay, that's Hamazushi. Now, if the to start off, the answer will be no. The answer will be no because you're starting the game off. So the person will say it's mine, and this person writes their name here. Okay, so the person writes their name. Okay, I'll just write this really quickly. Name. Okay, that's going to be the person writes their name. Make this as easy as I can. Okay, so the person writes their name. Okay, so Hamazushi now becomes this red person spot for the entirety of the game. Now, green, okay, green throws the dice and green throws a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ito Go back to this conversation. Do you have Ito Answer is no. Not to worry about the answer is no. So this guy says, okay, it's mine. He goes back to the conversation. He says, it's mine, and he or she writes their name right here. So to the end of the game, this is their area. If anybody lands here, they get this money. Now, yellow, okay, yellow throws the dice and yellow throws a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at Eon. The person says, do you have Eon? Everybody says no because the game has started. So, okay, this person says it's mine. They write their name right here. They write their name right here like this. Now, this is a yellow place. Red throws the dice 6 times. One, it comes up 6, throws dice 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pizza Hut. Does anyone do you have Pizza Hut? Everybody says no. He says it's mine. Okay. Now, the green person throws the dice. It comes up 1. He moves here. And the green person says, does anyone have Hamazushi? And the red person, the yellow person says no, but the red person says, yes, it's mine. Okay, so the conversation looks like this. Yes. And then the green person says, how much is it? Okay, and the answer is 600 yen. So the red person picks one of these 4 squares, and writes 600 yen in there. Whoops, 6,000 yen. Gave him a bonus. Okay, 6,000 yen. That keeps this. So they just keep doing it. Now the yellow person throws the dice, and it comes up 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does anyone have Ito Red person says no. Yellow person says yes. Okay, so yellow person says how much is it, and the yellow person says 200 yen. So the green person picks a spot and writes. Oops, sorry, wrong color. Writes a spot and picks a spot and writes 200 yen. Okay. Now back to the red person. The red person throws the dice and it comes up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does anyone have Eon? The yellow person says yes. Red person says, how much is it? And the yellow person says it's 500 yen. So the yellow person uh, picks a spot and writes 600 yen, 600 yen in, or 500, I'm sorry, 500 yen. Sorry, I'm an English teacher. I can't do math. And puts that in there. And it just keeps going. Green person throws the dice, comes up 3. 1, 2, 3. Does anyone have Gold's Gym? No, it's mine. Green person puts their name right here. And until the end of the game, you just keep going until all the spaces, you can keep going as long as you want. Now, let's say, for example, the red person lands on their own spot. Nothing happens, plus minus nothing. okay? And this is a great way for students to practice this conversation and also to use some of the numbers. And then at the end of the game, I ask everybody to add up how much money they've made, and then they have to report who's the richest person, who's the poorest person. So this is an activity I'm going to be using. If you want to use it, let me know. I'm happy to put the stuff, dice included, in your box. If you don't want to use it, no pressure either. Okay, it's just a asset that you can use for either this class or another class, or heck, if you teach kids, kids love it too. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. Good luck tomorrow with your classes. If I can do anything to help, please call anytime. See you later. Bye bye.